Hello everyone, this is Danny from Deep South Homestead. There is a subject that I want to talk about today on Porch Time chat. Uh, it keeps popping up in some of the comments, and I see it on YouTube a lot. I see it on TV all the time, and it's called the zombie apocalypse. Now, do I actually believe that there could be a zombie apocalypse? Absolutely. I believe it could happen. Do I believe in zombies? No. I do not believe in zombies. Then you're going to ask the question, if you do not believe in zombies, then how do you believe that we could have a zombie apocalypse? Well, let me explain to you about a zombie apocalypse, the way I look at it. When Hurricane Katrina happened, we had a miniature version of a zombie apocalypse. We had people going crazy. We had people fighting. We had people killing. There was all kinds of things happening. Now I realize that the people up in the northern states probably do not understand the extent of Hurricane Katrina when it happened. Yes, I know it was seen on television. I know people seen the devastation, but to have actually lived through it is a completely different story. Those of you that have served in the military and seen war and battlefields, you've seen a lot of destruction. Hurricane Katrina was worse than that. In war times, targets are picked. Sure, there's a lot of destruction. I've seen a lot of destruction. But it's different because you pick, I think the proper term to use would be there'd be theaters. There'd be particular places would be picked and shelled, where with Hurricane Katrina, when it happened, there was no particular areas picked. It was just widespread. There was no places where there was no devastation at, and then there was devastation. There was devastation from the coastline 100 miles in. Me, for instance, here, I live 30 miles in. I did not get the brunt like they did on the coast where there was absolutely nothing left. Here, most all the timber was blown down. I had 10 acres of land here that virtually the sun never hit the ground on. After Hurricane Katrina, I have a few standing trees left. Most everything we had blew down. The same thing with a lot of my neighbors around. I have patches of trees that were left that didn't blow down for one reason or the other. But to explain the zombie apocalypse, in our area around here and up toward the coast, there was tremendous looting. There was no electricity for 26 days, 25 or 26 days here. People had no food, no water, no way of doing anything because they totally depended on a totally electric home. And when there was no electricity, there was no phones. We had no way of communicating with one another unless you had a satellite phone, then you could. There was no running water. The only water we had that was running is you ran down to the branch and got it and ran back to the house. There was no air conditioning. The temperature was around 100 degrees or better. And the humidity was 100% most all the time. So you had people that was sweating down. They couldn't get water. They had no food. They had no way of cooking. And they panicked. Now, on our homestead here, as y'all heard me mention in the other video, it really didn't affect me that much other than just having a lot of timber down because I was prepared. I had water. I could get my water. We had a way to cook. All that was pre-prepared because I am a survivalist. I've taught survival. But the majority of the people did not have this. Those that live in the cities and in the towns, even a lot of your rural people, did not have it. it come to a point here where if you went to get gas, you had to go out of state to get gas, or you had to go to the northern part of the state at least, or you had to go to Alabama, somewhere way over in Alabama. Well, it didn't do any good to go to Louisiana. You had to go to Arkansas, places like that, and then you ran the risk of being vandalized before you got back. And the people here who did have stuff, there was groups of people riding around in cars just looking for some way to survive. Now that, within itself, is a miniature zombie apocalypse. The only thing that saved civilization down here at that point was the government stepped in, and the National Guard came in, brought bottled water. The goodness of people up north, just out of the goodness of their heart, came down in droves to help rebuild and put things back together. Now those people who came down from up north did see the brunt of this thing, and we are forever grateful for those people. I personally didn't have to have anybody. I never missed a day's work. My job kept right on going in the construction business because I actually flourished right after that. Never had to do any Katrina work because I was building a hotel and recreational facilities and all, and I had no damage where I was at because I was just putting in foundations and stuff. But we had made preparations for fuel and stuff like that, and like I said, the government stepped in and helped. But the point I'm trying to make at this particular point in time is that I don't believe the next disaster that takes place in this country, if it is as big as I think it's going to be, that there's going to be any kind of government assistance. And if there is no government assistance, the big issue right now is the power grid. There's a lot of talk about they're expecting the power grid to get hit in some way, whether it's with EMP or hacking or whatever it is that hits. I believe that's a real possibility. And if that happens, and there's no electricity, there's no cell phones or anything like that, then you're going to see what is called a zombie apocalypse. And that is, people are going to lose their minds, people are going to be starving, people are just going to go crazy. They're not going to be sane about anything they do. They'll kill you for whatever you have. And at that point, the government, I don't believe if the power grid goes down, is going to have the resources to step in and actually help the local people. And that's why I say, as local homesteaders, we need to be as prepared as possible. Now, like I told you in the other videos, I'm not a doomsday person, but I do believe in being prepared. And you'll notice sitting beside me right here, I have a bug out bag. Now, am I going to bug out for my homestead? Absolutely not. I'll fight right here till I die. But this bug out bag is for if I have to be gone for any extended period of time, that bag goes with me. Because in the event that I get away from here and something happens and I need to get back home, there's all the essential things I need in here to survive till I get home. It may take me months to get back here if I'm on foot or whatever, but I do have what I need. And I'm not going to go into the bag at this time, and I'm not going to talk about what's in it. That'll be for another video. But I think every homesteader should have a bug out bag. Not that you should bug out from your homestead, but that you need it in case you have to be away from home. Now, if you're only in town, you know, if you're 10 miles away, 15 miles away, you probably don't need a bug out bag because you can get home in a couple of days on your own if you know how to survive without the use of the things that are in a bug out bag. It's just knowing that when it happens, don't waste time. Now, being a homesteader, that's one of the points that I'm trying to make here, is that we need to be prepared to not depend on electricity. Now, I know a lot of our equipment runs off of electricity here making these videos and stuff like that, but in the event of a natural disaster, a man-made disaster, a power grid goes down or whatever, YouTube will cease to exist anyway. So we won't need any of this at that time. I, right now, try to buy up as much stuff as I can that's hand operated, that doesn't require any electricity to run. Y'all seen in some of our videos where we have grinders, where we hand grind our flour and our corn and things to that nature. I have all kinds of drills and axes and whatever we think we might need to survive that's used by hand. And I would urge y'all to do the same thing, to start looking toward buying more hand-operated tools and learning how to use them rather than depending on electric stuff, because from what I'm able to find out, the biggest threat to our country right now is a power grid failure, an EMP, or whether it be hacked or whatever. And I think that that's the direction that it'd be wise to go in. I know that's the direction we're headed in. Food storage, whether you can, I think the time is probably pretty short right now. I don't know that we have time. I don't know how much time we have. If we have enough time to have another growing season, another canning. I think I probably, even though I know there's a lot of BPAs and BPHs and all that kind of stuff in cans and stuff, if I thought I was going to die because I didn't have any food and I didn't have anything in my house at this point, I would go ahead and try to buy some canned stuff out of the stores and just have it just in case. And if nothing does happen, then we could go ahead and eat it and get your canned stuff that you can on the homestead prepared. I hope this video has been, in this chat, maybe it's been inspirational. If it has, be sure to subscribe to us and mainly share us with other people, because that's the biggest issue right now, is we want to get our videos out there. We want to be shared, and then hit the like button and let us know how much you appreciate it. Thank you from Deep South Homestead.